as I grow older, as my sins increase, that man that when he was born, the malaika were those that babysat him according to the narrations. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, you see a child how it smiles. This is because the malaika come and they entertain it. That same child that was babysat by the malaika, when he leaves this world, he is like an animal. No, the Quran says, بَلْ هُمْ أَزَلْ. Many of them are worse than the animals. We drop ourselves to such a level. We were at that point where we were the focus of the sajda of Adam, and now we leave this world where we are the focus of the la'an of the malaika. How is it possible that we could fall? They attract our attention. Think. When we sit down and think, when we sit down and ponder, we uncover those secrets. This is why in Tazkiyat al-Nafs, in the pure tools that an individual can use, the first of those is muhasabah. Muhasabah is taking account of yourself. The seventh Imam says that the one that does not do muhasabah at least once in their day, they are not from us. And the teachers of akhlaq say, no, take that taking account of yourself one step further. Take account of yourself after Salat al-Dhuhr and see, how have I lived my life until Dhuhr? And then take account of yourself when you go to sleep. How have I lived my life from Dhuhr until this point that I am sleeping? Sometimes we think, okay, it's just me recalling what I did in the day. I went there, I went there, I went there. I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. No, it's much more. It's so much more. See, it's not just recalling what you have done. It's not just saying, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have done that. But rather it's looking forward that tomorrow, this is what I will change in my life and make it better. I today became angry. Why is it that I became angry at this person speaking to me in this tone? And then I'll start to analyze, why is it that I became angry, and uncover because this person, but why because this person spoke to me in this tone, why did that anger me? Because I shouldn't be spoken to in that tone. But then why shouldn't I be spoken to in that tone? Well, because I'm better than him, I'm older than him, or I'm more educated than him. So now we uncover the root. That ujub, that takabbur. See, this is what muhasabah allows us to do. He says, yes, but I've got this academic qualification. See, that ujub, that muhasabah, that, that self-love, sometimes it manifests in so many different ways. Sometimes that false sense of religiosity manifests in the way that I interact with people, in the way that I treat certain people over other people. And I often do in these clothes, everyone's dead nice and everyone recognizes me and they're like, Salamun alaikum, and they stop and they meet, and how are you, and you good? Is everything okay? Yeah, okay, no problem. And then today I was walking around the center in my jeans and a t-shirt, and no one batted an eyelid. Everyone was like, and then some people did tell me, "Oh, sorry, I'm really sorry, it's you." But so what? Who am I? That because of these clothes you'll stop and say salam to me, but if I'm not, or if you think I'm someone else, you won't even consider me worthy of salam. Do you see how we're messed up? How it's so, wrong that we vie for people in these clothing, because we think that if we say salam to them somehow, that makes us so much better. But some other poor person or some other individual is not worthy of our salam. I walked around the center loads of times and many people just, didn't even notice. Thought, who's this guy? Keep on walking around. That's where the humanity has been lost. That I only consider certain human beings worthy of my salah. I only consider certain human beings worthy of my attention. Muhasabah allows us to contemplate over these points. So why is it that I made the special effort to go and say salam to this person? Muhasabah helps me uncover these. And then the next day, work on it to see how I can improve it. If this day I think I did not recite Quran, then tomorrow I will definitely recite Quran. I set myself up. And through that contemplation, through that analysis, through that taking account of myself, I improve, I develop, I reach another level. And my 2 days are never the same. The believer, Amirul Mu'mineen says, the believer's 2 days are never the same. If I have got into the monotony of daily life, I get up in the morning, I drive here, sometimes I don't remember my drive, I get to work, I do this schedule. And it's been like this, alhamdulillah, for 10 years. Where is the improvement? Where is the development? Where is the change? This is stagnation. See, our spirituality, I gave a lecture some months back on the in martial arts you have this idea, this concept of fluidity. Immovable, rather you accept the fact that it's immovable and move yourself around it. And the same concept when you look at our spirituality, when you look at our we're like, oh no, this problem, try and move it, I'm going to try and move it. I've got a problem with my rizq. Oh, but I'm working so hard and I can't seem to do it, so I'm working extra hours because I don't have enough money, so I'm working those extra hours, but still I can't seem to make those ends meet. That's me. Because Allah has placed it there. Rather, I could say, alhamdulillah, even though I don't have as much as I had last year or last month, but I'm still making ends meet. Yes, I can't enjoy some of the, the smaller pleasures in my life, but I'm still alive. And my belly is still full. And see, there it changes. Now I'm not trying to destroy it. Instead, it's there. Get over it. I flow around it to the next station. And this fluidity has to be there. And then it applies also in the development. Not just how we view certain problems, but what is it that I've done to make myself a better human being? What is it that I've done to make myself more spiritual? What is it that I've done? Have I changed? Have I added something? There has to be this constant flow. The moment that I pass into my life, that 5 years or 1 year or even a month, I've been doing the same thing, and there's been no change. I've been reciting my salah in this way, I've been reciting this surah, I've been reciting this dhikr, I've been reciting, that's all I've been doing for the last year or the last month. That is stagnation. And you look at water, it smells. The stagnant soul smells as well. Because every sin lets off a different smell. The Urafa are able to identify the smell from an individual and correspond it to a sin that they may have committed. Certain individuals' faces, or they give off a certain vibe as a result of the sins that they have committed. They have a certain attitude as a result of the sins that they have committed. And those that have eyes, real eyes, the eyes of the heart, can see, can know. When we stagnate, we're just stuck in one position and everyone else starts going ahead of us. There has to be development. No matter how old we are, no matter how young we are, there has to be this level that I will do better than I did yesterday. I will change something today that was different from yesterday. I lost my temper yesterday. I will do muhasabah. How will I change my life for tomorrow? I looked down at someone. See, what is the base level of pride? One of the teachers of akhlaq was saying the base level of pride that will stop a person from entering into Jannah is as low as this: if you are proud over the laces that are in your shoes. Even if you have that amount of pride. If you are proud of the laces. Now what are we proud? Proud of my children. Look at what they've achieved. Look at my business. Look at what I've done. And then I have hope that I will enter into Jannah. I have hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because I'm just so bogged down with everything. It's just there to divert my attention. And so, no matter how much I try, no matter how much a'mal I do, I can't seem to get ahead. The reason is because I haven't focused on the roots. These things that hold me down. So I can do a'mal after a'mal, I can do dua after dua, but if in my heart there is pride, or if I am jealous, or if I look toward it says, don't let one nation mock another nation. And then it goes one step further as the surah progresses, as the person progresses, that don't do ghibah, don't mock, don't speak ill of another. And then it goes further, it says don't even think ill of another. That husnul dhan, that benefit of the doubt, that we see someone doing something and instantly, because we're so ill, we're so diseased within, instantly we think, hey, what's he up to? What's she doing? Why is it that she's come and said salam to me today? Why is she wearing these clothing today? Why is he coming all of a sudden? I think he might want to get married. He's decided to, and then you see that whole just having that approach. It's all indication of a disease that exists within. And there are so many diseases of the soul. But the one that is the root of most of them is the one of ujub, self-love. When I love myself, I become angry because when I am jealous of someone, it's because I don't want them to have what they have because I think I should have it. Ujub. All of it comes from that ujub. When an individual considers themselves to be of some sort of worth. When you consider yourself to be insignificant, then nothing offends you. Nothing. And imagine that, so much, we have so much to answer for when we go into our graves anyway. But yet, we pile on all these other diseases, all these other problems into ourselves. That life is very difficult. That journey into the unknown, that journey into death, that place where, when Imam al-Khomeini was... Sorry.
You can get it closer because we can't hear you.
No problem, thank you.
Probably losing the Wi-Fi.
No problem, inshallah. So, that journey where even someone like Imam Khomeini is asked that when he dies, he comes in the dream of one of the other scholars, and they said to him that how is it in the akhirah? Now, how is it? He said, you should know it is very difficult. Even that hand that I would raise and wave towards the people, they asked me, what was your intention behind that? The hand that he would wave in front of the people, as he stood on the podium, they asked him, what was your intention behind that? Then all of those things that I do, all of those judgments that I pass, how will I answer for them? How will I stand? How will I lay in my grave and answer for all of that I have done, all of that which I hold within me? Just constantly I live my life like there is no questioning, like there is no death. The only inevitable thing about our existence, about our life, the only real thing, the only certain thing is that it will end. How I reach that end, that's up to me. That's my choice. How I live my life. What sort of ghiba I do. See, all these different things, ghiba, sometimes we don't even consider certain things to be ghiba. We're like, oh, Fulan did this and I saw him and she did this and I saw her. And you're like, no, please, don't do ghiba. And they're like, no, it's the truth. The fact that it's the truth is a ghiba. But it's for your information only. Look, I don't need the information. And then there's part of us, the problem is the person doing the ghiba, and then the other problem is me who loves to listen to the gossip, loves to listen to the ghiba. It just doesn't help digest. The food just will not digest until I've heard some decent gossip. It's like, oh, right, okay, no, astaghfirullah. Okay, tell me more. We don't think of it. We think, our children are immune to it. We're immune in regards to our children. No. You remember last Shahr Ramadan, I gave you this example when we spoke about lying, that there was a lady that was standing in front of the Holy Prophet and her kid was running around. And she was like, come here, I've got something for you. I've got something for you. Come. You know, like we do with children. We're like, hey, come. You know, I've got something. I'm pretending something's here. And the kid comes over and we're like, there's nothing. And then we just want to hug them. Yeah? Just me then. Okay. All right. Someone's got to know this example. Anyway, so this lady is doing this in front of the Holy Prophet. The Holy Prophet says, what's in your hand? You see how intricate this spiritual connection is. Show word I fall constantly. That is the reality. And so in this month we have that opportunity to uncover that humanity. This opportunity to do istighfar for our sins. Be forgiven so that we can start again. Be forgiven so that we can make that resolve again to change our lives. The third day's dua. Allahumma rzuqni fihi dhahan wa tanbih. Oh Allah, on this day, bestow me with memory and intelligence. Says, and help me keep away from sin and evil. Let me share everything good that there is from you in this month. From your generosity, O the one that is the most generous. My Lord, bestow upon me memory and intelligence. That doesn't come from me. That doesn't come from me playing the Nintendo DS, that brain training game. No, that comes from Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowing memory and intelligence. One of the ways that a person's memory is reduced is through sin. The narration says, as his sin becomes excessive, his memory begins to deplete. So when I begin to worship Allah more and more, then I continue and my memory continues to stay fresh. Those that partake in studying, in the learning about the religion, learning about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, constantly doing dua, reciting Quran, see how sharp they are. I told Abu Rujardi would, like in his Dars Kharij, in the Bahth al-Kharij, he would recite the poems of Suyuti that he'd learnt 70 years ago in the Muqaddamat. 70 years ago. And he would be able to recite them. And there are certain things that an individual can do to improve their memory. Obviously, staying away from sin being the most obvious one. Second is dua. There is a dua, Subhana man la ya'tadi ala ahli mamlikatih. It starts like that. This dua of Subhana man la ya'tadi, you can find it online. You've probably seen Mufatih as well. You take this dua, recite it after every wajib salah. recited after every wajib salah, it will increase your ability to memorize, it'll increase your ability to retain information. The memorization of Surah Ta'ala, the recitation of Ayatul Kursi, the general recitation of the Holy Quran, it will keep the mind of an individual sharp, it will keep an individual at the peak of their that intellect. Second thing, we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to, and keep me away from that sin and that evil. You know, because they're both interlinked. Keep me away from that sin, keep me away from the evil, because both of these things, they will draw me. And, you know, sometimes say, oh, shaitan's locked away. So how is it that, you know, he's not locked away? It's metaphorical. He's here. He's working. Our shaitan inside is locked away through our fasting. كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. We have prescribed for you fasting as we prescribed to those previous to you, so that you may be more God conscious, more God fearing. It's related directly to the fasting. It's related directly to the hunger. We have less desire to sin. We keep ourselves hungry. We draw nearer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hunger has many benefits. In the hadith of Mi'raj, the Holy Prophet asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what are the benefits of hunger? Allah himself to staying hungry, that they will never rely upon anyone else. They will become independent. The fourth thing, you know, that me alertness, awaken me, so that I don't realize. The Imam says, امتحنوا شيعتنا عند الثلاث, that test our Shi'as at 3 points. عند مواقيت الصلاة, at the time of salah, see how they preserve it. What am I doing at the time of the Incidentally, this problem seems to be everywhere. Adhan, that's 70 years worth of ibadat gone. If I'm talking about worldly affairs, 70 years worth of ibadat, 70 years worth of nur. Preparing or eat before. What's happened is like, oh my God, 15 hours. Some difficult. But you see that how we train the nafs the whole time, the whole day, and then we let it just leave us because, we can't wait that extra 5-7 minutes. Before I eat. This is the narration. So then at that point, when I train myself, that is tazkiyatun nafs. That is the breaking of the soul. When it says, I want to eat, you can eat now, it's fine. And I say, no, you will pray first, then you will eat. This is how you train the nafs. This is tazkiyatun nafs. Because it wants to do something, you do what is the opposite to what it wants to do. And you train it and you break it till it comes under your control. Then you can do what you want. Intellect will always be subservient. So having that alertness, keep me away from all that sin. All those sins that I do during the day, I somehow try and control myself during this month. I somehow because although I change, I need to contemplate as to why it is that has happened. Why it is that my life day. And then I start taking parts of it away slowly but surely, so that when I come to the end of Shahr Ramadan, then I more human. Because there are certain things that, that we can't help. The indications to the disease, or can't stop ourselves, can't help talking. That itself is a disease. Where I have to constantly talk, constantly just carry on, because that's something. Whereas silence is that spiritual device that allows a person to progress, and that desire to constantly talk to. You need something, and because it wants to say, hey, look, this is what I did during the day. I need you to know because I think it's dead important. But you could tell yourself, no. Bad form. I shouldn't talk. And so then I stop myself. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is an issue. That, this desire to, because the disease is so, I want people to know how interesting my not so interesting life is. Because my soul desires it, it craves it. You know, I saw someone earlier today, he put it on Facebook. He said, put your name underneath and I'll tell you something good that I like about you. And so people were putting their names underneath. And I was like, this is an indication of that disease, that I want to hear my praise. Please recite salawat. That I want to hear my praise constantly. I want people to tell me how good I look. I want people to tell me how good I speak. I want people to tell me, because that's what my nafs wants. Because I haven't tempered it, because I haven't controlled, resist the urge to slowly, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we ask, oh Allah, give me good in this month. Give me the good of this month. And there's a narration of the Holy Prophet that will chase away shaitan so far as distant as the east is from the west. And the companions ask, yes. And the Holy Prophet says, first and foremost is fasting. Because fasting will darken the face of shaitan. Metaphorically. You know, we sometimes take this literally. And we start thinking, and then in the back of our mind we start getting this notion of black is bad and astaghfirullah. I mean, this is how bad the disease has become. And then we can't sometimes see how whitewashed our ahadith have become. That how is it possible that American is still looking like an Arab in the hadith? Or he's still being painted looking like a Persian? How this distinction between color and race has been brought into our culture, has been brought into our religion. That we look differently towards with that hunger afterwards as well. Do I eat so much that I just need to roll around? Or do I through the night? The nafs is so out of control that I can't stop myself. I don't know where my limit is, and then I'm just like a photo that goes around of that chap, and there's a whole bowl next to him, and there's a mountain that is his stomach. and unable to do anything. So this restriction of food, there is a reason behind it. There is a whole philosophy behind it. And this is one way to tame the nafs. This is one way to control the nafs. That it says, I want to eat more. You say, no, you can only have this much now. I'll give you a little bit later. And then each day I reduce the amount I eat. That is the more difficult. You're going, what are you doing? Didn't you read that thing on BuzzFeed that this is the food you need to eat? Otherwise you're going to get dehydrated. For those that know BuzzFeed is something on the... You've got all of these things going on. I've read this article and someone somewhere, some doctor with something said, I got to eat this food and I'll be all right. But you see, in order to break the nafs, sometimes you put that thing of desire in front of you. Like you really feel like eating a cake. Okay, get a to make it can eat. Not that it tells you when it needs to eat. There's a difference. So even if it doesn't, even we can't do it every single day, do it, try it one day. Slowly but surely. One day, every other day, every 2 days. Say you want to eat and the next day the soul will be crying out and whatever, and then okay. And that way, this is how you train it. Fasting is that thing that destroys shaitan. Sadaqah is that one thing that breaks the back of shaitan. Giving sadaqah, being accustomed to giving sadaqah. One thing that chases away bala, difficulties, sorrows in our life. And we get some sort of difficulty, some sort of sorrow, and we're like, can we have a dua, or can we have a ta'weez written, or certain a'mal, and can I recite this over some water and sprinkle it all over the room, and then maybe that will chase away something that's there? No, just give sadaqah. It won't happen in the first place. We're not accustomed to this whole, party. And the best time to give sadaqah is when you don't have that much. Giving sadaqah, and there's so many people. I was speaking to a friend of mine, one of the Shia friends from Madagascar, and they're part of the black Shia community. And he was saying, look, if you know people that want to send some money over and things like that, we're struggling with a lot of the mu'mineen. Our other fellow Indian Shia brothers don't want to help us. So we, the black Shia community, are suffering. So I said, okay, no problem. How much is it for a day per person? And what he said to me shocked me. He said, we can feed 3 people a decent meal for $2. 3 people for $2. The whole cost to feed 275 people through the month of Shahr Ramadan is $5,500. And yet, incidentally, within that same city, I have a friend who is not of African descent, who is also a follower of Ahlul Bayt, that was willing to wire to me £30,000 so I could send him a Range Rover from England. Do you see how broken we are? Do you see what's so wrong with our society? That we have turned everything upside down. Where we speak about raising the flag of the oppressed somewhere across the world, but we don't realize that within our own family, within our own community, there are those that are oppressed by none less than our own. Do you see how broken we are? And we're just so happy with what it is because it's someone else's problem. I see a problem within society. I point towards it. I say, I can only reform it if I reform myself. And this is what the Quran is saying over and over. This is what the Quran is saying to us. When we make our families more inclined towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we've already adjusted a part of society. We've already reformed part of society. So sadaqah is that thing. Individual. You have a relationship with Allah. Is it and then when difficulties strike, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya. When everything is difficult and then He gives it to me and then I say, this was from me. I did this and saved myself. So what is my relationship with Allah? Have I got that relationship of friendship, or is it a relationship of me, in this sort of fear of God? Me being in this situation where I'm constantly, I don't know if I should do it. And in reality, if we think about it, my desire not to pray, not really being regular with my salah and everything, doing it every now and then, and it's a fact that I don't want to admit. It's a fact that I'd much rather forget. But it's a reality that I can't avoid. And that is that just maybe I don't actually believe. I've just been told all my life that there is some the time. Because if I knew that He really existed, and if I accepted that He truly existed, there wouldn't be the sins in my life that I can. It's a difficult truth. But sometimes 40 years, 50 years of my life go past, and I still haven't got the habit of praying. It shows me there's something wrong. Doing istighfar. This month is the month of istighfar. Doing istighfar that's one thing that will cut the vein, the root of shaitan. It will remove him from an individual. Inshallah, Allah will forgive me. No, istighfar is recalling every sin and then saying astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu. Is the tears falling from my eyes. Istighfar is that oath, that promise never to do it again. That is true istighfar. And there are benefits of it, very many benefits. Inshallah, another day we'll speak about the benefits of istighfar. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran that He gives. And then the Holy Prophet ends the narration by saying that everything you want to change yourselves. If I'm just happy with my status quo, then status quo will do me. Of our parents. Oh Allah, those of our parents that are alive. The reappearance of the Imam of our time and allow us to be amongst his true muntadhireen.
سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله وصلى الله على محمد وآله وسلم.
استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا وفاطمة وأولاده المعصومين بالحق حجج الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه من كل ذنب. يا محسن قد أتاك المحسن. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانيك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله قوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله ربي. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. إلهي كفى بي عزا أن أكون لك عبدا وكفى بي فخرا أن تكون لي ربا. أنت كما أحب فاجعلني كما تحب. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله قوته يقوم وأقعد. سبحان الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا لطيف يا كريم ارحم عبدك الضعيف الذليل الحقير المسكين المستجير يا الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر نظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه، وهو الشهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك من علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار، فيمن تمن عليك وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Mu'mineen, there is a request for the recitation of Surah Fatiha for Hussein Hirsa and Qul Marhumin. Please recite Surah Fatiha followed by 3 Qul Huwallahu Ahad, and then before that your loudest of salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. استغفر الله ربي واتوب اليه. الله اكبر الله اكبر. اشهد ان لا اله الا الله. اشهد ان لا اله الا الله. اشهد ان محمدا رسول الله. صلى الله عليه وسلم. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. صلى الله عليه وسلم. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه من كل ذنب. يا محسن قد أتاك المصيب. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله قوته قوموا وقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله نبي. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا ذا النعماء والجود يا ذا المن والطول. حرم شيبتي على النار بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله قوته يقوم وقعد. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله استغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله قوته يقوم وقعد. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا ولي العافية نسألك العافية عافية الدنيا والآخرة بجاه محمد وإترته الطاهرة. الله أكبر. الحمد لله كما هو أهله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد. الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبحان الله لمن حمده. سبحان الله. Yeah. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا بائس الهدى، السلام عليك يا محمد بن عبد الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا سيدتي ومولاتي صديقة الطاهرة الممتهنة الصابرة فاطمة بنت محمد، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء وبعيد المدى سلطان بالحسن علي بن موسى الرضا، السلام عليك وعلى آبائك السبعة وعلى أبنائك الأربعة وعلى أختك فاطمة المعصومة ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا صاحب العصر والأمر والزمان، سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان، السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان، اللهم أرني الطلعة الرشيدة وغرة الحميدة وكن ناظري بنظرة مني إليه وعجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا وجعلنا اللهم من عوانه وأنصاره والمستشهدين تحت لوائه، السلام عليك يا أهل بيت النبوة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم تقبل الله عنكم، تقبل الله عنكم، أحسن عليكم السلام. يلا الشيخ تفضل تفضل.
ممكن سؤال؟ لاحظت انه في ناس يصلون قصر في الصف
Sorry, I speak English or